I never thought I would survive. And I certainly never thought there would come a day I'd tell this story out loud. What happened that night, in that forest, changed me forever. Sometimes, during short bursts of sleep, I still hear the snapping of branches, the whispering wind that feels far too deliberate. I see eyes that don't belong to any human, watching from the dark. But I lived, and I have to speak, because the others never made it back. It all began like any ordinary trip. One weekend in December, I headed out with 3 close friends. Khan, the fearless one who always started our adventures, Lai, small but strong, and Min, quiet, observant. We chose a forest up north, nearly a 4-hour drive from the city, not too popular, but wild and untouched. Perfect for a night of camping. On the way in, we stopped at a roadside tea stall. An old man with a hunched back and long silver hair stared at us for what felt like too long. When Khan casually mentioned we were spending the night in the woods, the man growled low under his breath. "You really shouldn't. If you don't believe the old stories, then at least after 9 p.m., don't go outside. No matter what you hear, don't go out." Lai turned slightly pale. As for me, I felt a chill run down my spine in broad daylight. But Khan just laughed it off. Min said nothing, though I noticed his eyes glance at the strange wooden pendant the old man wore, carved with symbols that looked almost like a ward or talisman. We carried on. When we finally reached the site, the forest was denser, damper than we'd imagined. The last rays of sunlight fell like thin nets, filtering through brittle branches. The air smelled of damp earth, decaying leaves, and something else. Something sharp and sour I couldn't name. We set up camp near a small clearing, about 200 meters from a stream. The sound of the water trickling in the distance was oddly calming. Almost too calm. We lit a fire, grilled some meat, and played music through a small Bluetooth speaker. Laughter echoed through the trees, slicing through the heaviness the old man had warned us about. In that moment, I felt completely alive. Free, wild, and reckless. But once the sun set, everything changed. The light didn't fade, it retreated, as if pulled away by invisible hands. The forest went silent. No birds, no breeze. Only the soft crackle of our fire remained, and the 4 of us sitting closer together than usual. I remember Lai's voice trembling as she asked, "Do you guys feel like we're being watched?" We chuckled nervously, but none of us answered. That was the last moment in my life, when anything still felt normal. It was nearly 10 p.m. The campfire had died down and the wind picked up. Not the usual cool mountain breeze, but something sharper, like a blade against your skin. Khan stood up, grabbed his flashlight, and headed toward the stream to wash up. I still remember him turning back, grinning. "I'll be back in a bit. Don't lock the tent, okay?" 10 minutes passed. No one said anything, but we were all uneasy. Min stood up, turned on his phone's flashlight, and was about to call for Khan when his phone suddenly powered off, all on its own. Lai looked at me, her voice shaking. The Bluetooth speaker. It's still on, right? I turned my head. The little speaker sat near the dying embers. Its blue light was still glowing, but there was no sound, not even static. I stepped closer. As soon as I touched it, I heard a click. It powered back on and played a recording. A voice whispering something in a strange, broken language. like a damaged old tape. Lay burst into tears. Min scanned the woods with his flashlight, but the beam seemed to blur in the air, like something was distorting the light itself. And then we saw it. A figure, standing still between two large trees, only a few dozen meters from the campsite. It didn't move. It didn't approach. Min shouted, "Khan!" No response. The dark silhouette just quietly faded away, as if it dissolved into the air. We had no idea what to do. I fumbled for my phone and opened the camera, trying to record the sight, to have some kind of proof. But the screen only showed static interference. I turned it off and back on. That's when I found a video. One that had just been recorded automatically. I hit play. The footage trembled slightly, as if someone had secretly filmed from the bushes. It showed us sitting around the fire, from an angle where no one should have been standing. Lai whispered, "If all of us are here, then who filmed this?" None of us slept that night. Every rustling leaf, every snapping twig made the three of us jump. And then, at around 1 a.m., Min vanished. No sound, no shout, just gone. His phone was left behind, camera still rolling. The final frame, Min's terrified face turning back as if someone had grabbed him from behind. And then, darkness. Lai and I had no idea what to do. Min was gone, vanished into perfect, suffocating silence. No scream, no dragging sounds, no visible footprints. Only his phone, still recording. I played back the last video again. That's when I saw it, a blur. A shadow streaking behind Min, so fast you'd miss it unless you slowed the footage down. It wasn't human. The way it moved, twisted, almost slithering. Not walking. Lee sat there, holding her head, crying without sound. And me? For the first time in my life, I felt completely out of control. Helpless. We grabbed what we could. Water, a knife, the flashlight. We were getting out of that forest that night. But the map app couldn't find our location. No signal. No coordinates. It was as if we'd stepped outside the world. The air turned heavy, too thick to breathe. And the wind. It no longer sounded like wind. It was a whisper. A low, aching moan. Like someone mourning. From somewhere far off. Lai gripped my hand tightly, her eyes distant, glassy. It's playing with us. It's not done yet. Around 3 a.m., I tried to lead her toward the stream. Maybe we could follow it out. But she suddenly stopped. She stared into the emptiness ahead, lips trembling. "Khan!" I turned and no one was there. Belai pulled away from me and ran into the woods. I shouted for her, again and again. No answer. Her footsteps faded, staggered. Then, nothing. I stood still, alone, deep in the forest. No light, no sound, no signal. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. Every breath felt like it was draining my soul. And then, I heard my own voice, a recording, playing through the Bluetooth speaker, the one that had been dead for hours. I'll tell the whole story, if I survive. That was my voice, but I never said those words. A cold chill shot down my spine. That's when I understood. It didn't just want to kill. It wanted to leave behind a witness. Someone to remember. I don't remember how far I ran. At some point, I thought I was walking in circles. At some point, I truly believed I was already dead. But I kept going. With whatever fragments of reason I had left, I followed the faint light of the moon, traced the stream, felt the roots beneath my fingers to stay oriented. By the time dawn crept in, I heard nothing. No footsteps, no whispers, Not even myself. I collapsed beside a large boulder, barely breathing, my eyes locked onto the tangled branches above. In that moment, I was ready to die. But the rangers found me. They said I was lucky. They had no idea how I ended up on the far west edge of the forest, over 10 kilometers from where we had camped. They asked me, "Where are the others?" I could only shake my head. My throat was raw, too burned to speak. I didn't utter a word for a whole week. And the strange part was this. There were no traces of Khan, Min, or Lai. No tents, no gear. It was like we were never there. The phone I gave them, all the videos were gone. I was put through therapy. They said it was trauma, group delusion, memory loss. But I know I'm not crazy. Sometimes around 3 a.m., I still hear the whisper in my sleep. If you hear anything out there, don't go outside. That was the last thing the old man said. I don't know who he was, but I believe he knew exactly what lives in that forest. I survived, but I'm not the same. And if you're listening to this story, there's one thing I need you to remember. When night falls in the forest, don't step outside your tent, no matter what you hear.